Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture on data science process. Data science process is a systematic approach to solve problems using data. It involves several steps. We start with data collection process. First we define the problem, and then the problem is to be defined based on the business context and the requirements, users involved and other aspects. And then we go for collecting the data. Then we apply pre-processing techniques to clean the data and to prepare the data. The next step is data exploration and visualization, and then this step involves identifying interesting patterns and relationships present in the data. And then we also apply machine learning. The next step, we apply machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms to build models, and then we evaluate how good is the model to give the better results. And the last step is to deploy the model and then presenting the results to the end users. So these are all the steps involved in this process, and this process helps an organization to extract valuable insights from the data, which will help the decision makers to make informed decisions, and also it drives innovation. Now let us discuss this process in detail. So it helps us to make data-driven decisions, drawing insights accurately from the data. So these are all the steps involved in problem definition, data collection, pre-processing, data exploration and visualization, processing, and then communicating the results. Now we will discuss this diagrammatic representation. It shows all the steps. It starts with the data collection, first defining the problem, and then collecting the data, then applying pre-processing techniques, and then exploring the data to understand and analyze the errors and relationships and other patterns in the data. Then in this stage we will visualize the data in some form like a histogram or scatter chart or um, like a bar chart or something like that. Then we go for model building, where we apply machine learning algorithm or deep learning algorithm to extract insights from the data. Finally, we communicate the results to the users. So these are all the stages involved in this data science process. Now we'll start with the first step. So in the first step, usually the data scientist will define the problem, and then they will prepare a project planner to meet the deadline and also to satisfy the customer requirements. So first we outline the objectives, and then they also describe what are all the resources available, deliverables, and timeline to ensure that the uh, project is completed within the deadline, and also they ensure that it is aligned to the user requirements. The next step is data collection. In this step, the data scientist will gather data from various sources. The sources may be online sources, online repository or databases or data warehouses or data lakes. So they apply APIs or other methods to collect the data, and also they conform to the industry standards and policies and permissions to be taken from the right authorities. And the next step is data cleaning, in which we focus on cleaning the data. There may be errors in the data, inconsistent data, and outliers, some abnormal data will be there. So in this process, we eliminate all those errors, all those inconsistency will be removed, and outliers will be dealt with in this stage. So this ensures that the data is accurate for further analysis process. So the next step is exploratory analysis, in which we make the system understand the characteristics of data, and then it focuses on identifying the patterns and discover interesting relationships between variables. So in this step, we apply statistics or visualization techniques and other techniques to explore the data. So this helps the data scientist to decide which technique will be applied or which technique can be suitable for further uh, step. So the next step is model building. So in this step, we select appropriate technique, machine learning technique or deep learning or statistical model to solve the problem, to work with the data. So the algorithm may be classification algorithm, prediction algorithm, or clustering algorithm based on the data and the characteristics of the data. So this deals with the complexity of the problem and the type of the data. So the next step is model deployment. So this modeling involves testing and training the data, and testing the data, and also validating the data to confirm to the standard and the quality of the model. So we select the best model to present the results, to produce the best results. In the next stage, the model development, we select appropriate platforms to deploy the model, and then we make the decision maker make decision based on the output or result of the model. So the final step of communicating results involve visualization techniques. We present the results in the form of graphs or tables or PPT or text like output. It helps the decision maker to make better decision by understanding key information present in the data. So the frameworks like CRISP data mining framework or OSMN framework can be applied to deploy this process. So we can use cross-industry standard process for data mining. For example, it involves 6 stages where it starts with business understanding, and then data analysis and understanding, data preparation stage, and then building the model, evaluating the model, finally deploying the model in the production environment. So these are the steps in the CRISP DM process. So it streamlines the entire data science process. Another framework, OSMN framework, is used to apply these stages. We start with obtaining the data and then applying a scrap stage to analyze and understand the data. Then we explore the data to understand the patterns and relationships. Finally, we create a model, and then we make the user and the system interpret the data. So the result will be communicated to the end users at the end. So these are all the stages involved in this framework. So the data science project can be deployed in either CRISP DM framework or an OSM framework, depending upon the requirement. So that's all, guys, in this lecture. In this lecture, we have discussed all the stages involved in the data science process and also the frameworks used for deploying the data science process. Now let us discuss challenges in the data science process. So ensuring the quality of the data and quality of the system and availability of the data is one of the challenge, because the raw data may be inconsistent or inaccurate, incomplete. So we have to deal with these problems carefully, and then understanding the bias in the data and algorithms is another challenge. So we have to choose the right algorithm to deal with the bias in the data, and also we have to avoid unexpected results, choosing the proper algorithm. And then model overfitting and underfitting is another challenge. The data may be insufficient, or it may have data imbalance or class imbalance. So we have to deal with this model complexity to avoid overfitting or underfitting. We have to apply sampling techniques, appropriate sampling techniques to deal with these problems. And the next stage is model interpretability. We have to ensure that the complex models are interpretable and understandable. So for that, we have to make changes in the model, and we have to create a better version of the model to generate understandable, interpretable results. Then the privacy and ethical consideration is another challenge because the data is a critical element of any system, ensuring that the data is protected and is released by the right people is another important challenge. So we have to ensure the privacy implications and ensure that the data is protected and used properly following the policy of the company and the stakeholders. So that's all in this lecture. Thank you.